You're now listening to Sound Talent Media. Check out more shows at soundtalentmedia.com.
This episode is brought to you by Summer School Electronics. Summer School Electronics is a pedal company from Syracuse, New York, making incredible stuff. There are a few Summer School devices knocking around the shred shed, and I can tell you from personal experience, they sound great, they hold up, and Mark is a super cool dude. The first pedal I saw from them was the Science Fair, which is a parallel classic drive and distortion. And now they've released a new parallel concept called the Class Reunion. The Class Reunion takes a 90s muff style circuit and combines it with their Trash Panda, which is like a soft clipping, high gain amp in a box style circuit. And it is a super versatile combination with all kinds of clipping options, parallel blending. It's really rad, a really cool idea, and I think you should check it out. So go over to summerschoolelectronics.com, that's summerschoolelectronics.com, and check them out today.
Shopify grows your business no matter how far or big you grow. Shopify is the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business. Whether you're selling your fans' next favorite shirt or an exclusive piece of podcast merch, Shopify helps you sell everywhere. Shopify powers 10% of all e-commerce in the US. Allbirds, Rothy's, Brooklinen, and millions of other entrepreneurs of every size across 175 countries. Plus, Shopify's award-winning help is there to support your success every step of the way. Because businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/income, all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/income now to grow your business, no matter what stage you're in.
What is up, good people? Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. You know, I appreciate you. Today, I am talking to somebody else I appreciate, Jayce from the world famous Repairland down in Indio, California. He is the man, and you've probably seen his videos on the social medias. He's got to be the most entertaining guitar repair person on the internet. I absolutely love his videos, and he is a awesome dealer for us over at Stringjoy, and I really wanted to get him on just to talk about his journey, because I knew there was more to this dude than some simple, fun internet videos. So I got Jayce on, and I got his whole story, and I think you are going to enjoy this conversation very much. One quick bit of business to get to while I have you, and speaking of Stringjoy, we are still giving away a Gretsch White Penguin. Yes, that is a extremely nice guitar. Not the easiest thing to get a hold of. We are giving away a White Penguin. All you have to do is slide over to stringjoy.com and check out all the details on how you can enter. There's just a little bit longer left before this one is over. The Summer of Stringjoy will be continuing with some other special stuff, but the White Penguin is almost gone. So slide over to stringjoy.com to check that out and see how you might possibly win. All right, without further ado, let's get into this one with Jayce from Repairland. Let's go! Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Tone Mob Podcast, the show about guitar stuff occasionally, sometimes. I'm your host, Blake Weiland, and with me today, I have Jayce Levi from the world famous Repairland. What's going on, man?
I'm here live right now.
That's right.
In the world famous Repairland.
Dude. And it's a studio too, as we can see by the tape machines and everything you got going on back there, which I think a lot of people may not be as aware of as the repair stuff.
No, well, I'm kind of figuring out the best way to do the studio, because I don't really like the traditional recording studio model where it's like people bring in their gear and then you got to pay to set up and you got to pay all this stuff. So I kind of want to just have everything set up and all the instruments in here and then you just pay to like hit record, and everything's already set up for you.
Ah, yeah, I got you.
So I've been kind of figuring out how to do that. But some people are very picky, so perhaps it's not for everybody. But
Right.
it'll work for people who just want to make a song. So
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of those people. There's a
yeah,
lot. Like, not everybody's a big gear nerd like me. So,
yeah,
it makes sense. But
yeah.
I wanted to get into your story because I became aware of you, excuse me, when you became a string joy dealer, and I started following your content, and I was like, oh, this is great. It's not only like a behind the scenes look at what goes into repairing an instrument, but it's also just very entertaining the way you present everything. And I assume that the videos that you're posting are not your first time repairing instruments. So, what's your story? When did you get into playing and music, and how did you end up owning the world famous Repairland?
Um, there wasn't like a direct shot at it. I started out in like writing songs and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and producing a little bit, but mostly songwriting. And uh, my like big break first was I wrote for a band that was signed to the Disney Channel, and then I wrote songs for them, and then that kind of stopped happening. So then I was writing songs on my own and trying to develop a TV show, and I spent a long time on that. It didn't work out, and somewhere along there, I was just always fixing guitars and stuff to make extra money, or uh, like figure it out, like try to make rent or whatever. I was fixing guitars in my garage, and then I guess I kind of skipped a couple steps early on. And one of my band members, his dad was like a Fender repair guy,
Mm-hmm.
and when we always wanted him to fix our stuff, and he just was like, no, but I'll like show you how to do it. And
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
so I kind of learned some like basics from him, and my bass player and his dad, they built a bass from scratch, and I kind of got to watch the whole process of that. So that was like my early education in it, but then it was pretty short after that. Pretty much everything else was like fixing guitars on the road, fixing my friends' guitars, fixing other bands' guitars, learning from just doing tons of stuff like with not very many tools, um, and just kind of like figuring it out. And then slowly, you collect more stuff and more tools and more contacts, and all of a sudden you almost have a guitar shop. So then, um, yeah, it just kind of was pretty slow over a bunch of years. And then I moved out to the desert, which is where I live now in the Indio. And I was looking for like a new job or something to do. And so I was like, I'll just get a job at Guitar Center. Like, seems pretty
Mm-hmm.
chill here. It's a really small store. And they hadn't had like a good tech maybe ever.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
when I started working there, it just like got crazy where I was doing like 15, 20 guitars a day. I was doing a crazy amount. And then over time, I didn't really enjoy some of the company's stances on things and policies. So I was like, you know what? I could just have my own shop and do what I want to do and be the repair guy I want to be. And
Mm-hmm.
then I did that. And then I talked to the city of Indio, and they wanted to move my shop here too. And they were going to help me out with a cool place downtown. And so I started the process, but the process took about 6 months or so.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was kind of stuck with no shop or anything for a while. And then luckily the guys down the street from me, they own a music venue and a coffee shop. They're like, you should do pop-ups here
There you go.
and just pop up and repair stuff. So I would bring all my tools down, and then I was in the coffee shop repairing a ton of guitars. And then now I moved in my place, and I have nonstop repairs coming in. People travel from all over to come get their chud scraped off by me. So I did it here in Indio, and
Yeah.
but I actually haven't even officially opened my doors yet. But I just had so much like demand and so many people wanting repairs. I've kind of been like half open, half repairing every day. And I got newborn at home too, so I'm doing like a lot of stuff. So it's been really cool, though. I can't believe like that I'm popular on the internet.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's a weird coincidence that I'm running into. I was just talking to a friend of mine yesterday. He's actually my strength coach. He just opened his own gym along with some other people after working for other people for years and years, and also just had a newborn. It
Yeah.
was years ago now, but it was about 9 years ago now. I started working for myself right about the time I had a newborn, and sounds like you're continuing that trend of people I know
Yeah.
having children and starting businesses, which is
Yeah.
kind of weird.
I know. And then so many things just happen at the same time. But I think like maybe it's having the child that like gives you that extra push to be like, I need to make this happen, and
Yeah.
I got to do whatever it takes.
Yeah, I think there is something to that where you've kind of been playing with the decision in your mind for a while,
Yeah.
and then when you finally make the leap and the baby's on the way or here, you're like, well, I don't have a choice. This has to work, or I have to make something work.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
I got to do it. And there's no other option really.
Mm-hmm.
I've already set down this path, so I just got to go for it. So it's been pretty exciting though, watching it grow. For the most part, I think.
How soon did you decide to integrate the studio aspect in? I know it's not fully open yet, but you're obviously thinking about that, even before the doors are officially open.
Yeah. Well, I've always been like an engineer for money as well. Like, there's only so many jobs out there where you can like pick up, especially in the desert, to like make money. So I just kind of like found a niche of like, like engineering works out pretty well. And I had a lot of experience from songwriting and stuff from doing it. So I started engineering at places out here. And then all of a sudden, since there's not like a lot of people engineering out here on like a pro level, I started doing really big engineering gigs for like TV and movies and Fox and Netflix and HBO and all
Cool.
this stuff. And I didn't really have like that much gear at the time when I started, but then slowly like just things started happening, and I was like, okay, now I have enough to do it. And I'm not really like a crazy, like I like to have cool stuff and cool gear, but I don't need the best gear or anything like that. I've always figured out how to make stuff work. I just like cool stuff. So it's worked out pretty well. So I wanted to continue that in this new space I moved into. But that stuff's pretty easy. It's mostly vocal replacement and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But when a band would want to come in, they just destroy the place with their full stacks and like 100 guitars when I already have like 40 guitars in here.
Mm-hmm.
And like so I was like, yeah, I kind of want to, like, I want to help people make really good sounding songs with my cool stuff, but also like for the price it cost me, for the amount of time it was taking, and how displaced everything would become, and all my channels are getting switched and all this stuff. Then I I don't think people could afford what that would cost for me at this point, with all my overhead and stuff. So I was like, I still want to record for people, but it has to make sense for everybody.
Yeah, for sure.
And and I've already, even though I'm not open, I still, because there's not really any studios out here per se. So I get calls for studio work already. I'm not even open yet. And I just recorded some guy from the Drifters, there's some magic moment.
Oh, nice. Nice.
He came in and recorded some vocals, and it was super cool. I get the most random calls out here because it's like a retirement community, but also an up and coming young music community. So it's the biggest collection of just artists and different stuff going on all the time. So I like to do both things, and also it's nice when I get sick of scraping chud and fixing guitars, I can do something else for a day and then go back to doing guitars ultimately.
Right. So I want to take a couple steps back because it's a world that I'm insanely curious about, and you've got some experience in. So when you were talking about you were writing for the Disney Channel and you've got this experience in film and TV and all that, how did you get into that world in the first place? And do you care to elaborate on the Disney stuff? Because I'm insanely curious about it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a while ago, so I don't some of it's a little blurry to me, but I played in a MySpace band. Then my MySpace band signed to Drive Through Records, which was an old pop punk label.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember. I remember your band. What was your band?
Yeah, my band was called Secret Secret Dino Club. We were the last band to ever sign to Drive Through, but I don't really know what happened. It didn't work out, and but they also managed this this group of guys who were a up and coming boy band, I guess, if that's a thing.
Yeah, I think so.
And they didn't they just had they had a cool look. They had a great cast of characters, and they were just really young. But they were fans of my band, and we did a tour together, and it didn't go very well. And then we got in a really big van accident.
Oh, no.
And our van got destroyed by this 18-wheeler, and it crushed, I lost all my gear got crushed. I even had an accordion, and the accordion got accordioned even more.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
So that was a big reset for me. I was like, whoa, what am I doing? I had to call my friend to come pick me up in the remnants of my gear down in North Carolina, and I was living in New York at the time. It was a big fiasco, and insurance never ended up covering it, or I don't know what happened to the insurance money, but money was...
You didn't get it. Yeah.
Yeah, in the world of the music business, money always seems to just disappear.
Whoops.
It's where did that go? I don't know. It didn't go to me. So I I kind of had to reset and I had to rethink like everything. I was like, okay, if I need to like go back on the road, that means I gotta buy all this gear. I gotta get a new van. I gotta get a new trailer. I gotta get all this stuff. And I was like, at this point, with how bad the tours are going, it really is not a smart decision for me to get back into that. But my music was still doing all right online. And I still had fans and stuff. So I was just writing more songs. Me and my friend, we were just writing tons of songs. And then that band that got in the van accident with me, they ended up getting signed to Disney by handing out a flyer at a Jonas Brothers movie premiere.
What?
And
Wild.
yeah, so they were discovered at this Jonas Brothers movie premiere. And so that Disney was like, we needed an album, and they were like, well, they just liked our band and we were already friends. So me and my partner JP, we worked on their whole album pretty much, and we were like living in the back of their tour bus, writing songs on our laptop and stuff for them. And it was pretty crazy,
That's
party
wild.
times and stuff. Yeah, but it was fun, and they did pretty well. And then over time, the relationships in the music business are hard to manage, I think. So things didn't work out with them and the label over time, and so that kind of left me with like, okay, well, what's next? Because now, and record labels, they change up their staff a lot. So when like a new staff comes in, they just kind of clean house. And so all the people that you knew that were like going to bat for you, they just go away, more or less. So
Yeah.
you hope they go somewhere else, but a lot of times they don't. That's it. So once that ended, we had to kind of rethink something else to do, and started trying to write for more artists and develop kind of our own thing. We had a group called Astro Safari USA. We did pretty well online, and we went to the UK and we played all over. And then we had signed a production deal with Buna Murray Productions, who made like the Kardashian show, and we were going to try to make a show with them, but just never really worked out. Then after that, I was like, I don't know what to do, because I have such a weird selection of skills.
Yeah.
You want a Disney song or a weird pseudo reality show guy, call me. Other than that, I don't know what you want from me. So I just had to start kind of making my own path, not relying on anybody else, really. Just building things on my own through relationships and hard work, and doing what I could to get by with the skills that I had. And eventually the guitar skills just kind of took over everything else, and it became a much less stressful environment for me and a much better outlet of my art to just do guitar repair. So now it's like all I think about all day, and other than my little baby, it's my life now. So I enjoy it so much.
Hi, I'm Vincent, and I'm here to talk about the Maris Mercury X. My dad's always going on and on about how cool Maris is. He really went off on one about the Mercury X the other day. He said something about a 4,800 hertz sample rate and 99 preset locations in 33 banks, and something along the lines of the most advanced reverb pedal ever devised by man? That's all true, but I only care about one thing. This pedal sounds sick. So make sure you check out the Mercury X and all the other fine products at Maris.us, as well as fine retailers worldwide. All right, Dad, now can I have my Pocky?
How exactly do artists get their music on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, Tidal, all these services? How in the world do you get your music there? Well, in the past, you had to use something called a record label. But these days, you can use DistroKid. DistroKid is the absolute easiest way to get your music up on streaming services, and it's the most affordable way to do so. Not only do plans start at $22.99 for the entire year, that's less than $2 a month, DistroKid also does not take a cut of your streaming revenue, unlike some other services out there. Even better if you sign up by going to tonemob.com/distrokid. That's tonemob.com/distrokid. One more time, that's tonemob.com/distrokid. You'll get 30% off. That's right, 30% off their already extremely reasonable prices. So go to tonemob.com/distrokid and get your music out there. We are brought to you today by Sweetwater, specifically the Gear Exchange. You may have heard about this. This is a place where you can go to buy and sell your used gear. Maybe you got a pedal over there that's just kind of collecting dust. Maybe there's something you've been eyeing from the Sweetwater catalog. Well, right now is a great time to turn that unused gear into something you're actually going to use. Even better, if you sell on the Gear Exchange, you can keep 100% of the sale as long as you choose a Sweetwater gift card as your payout method. That is not too shabby because, let's be honest, most of this buying and selling we do is just to fund new gear purchases, and that is a great way to reach a wide variety of customers and keep 100% in your pocket, or rather on your pedal board. So go check out the Sweetwater Gear Exchange and turn that unused gear into something that's actually going to help you write that next huge riff. And then you started posting videos. Did you do that with the intent that, hey, this is just what we do now? We live in this internet age where, everybody's got to make content. Or was it just like, this seems fun? What was the thought process there?
Well, I was just just locally in town, I was like, I want to get some more business because a lot of people don't know I'm here, or they don't know it happened after I left the local guitar center or whatever. So I was like, I'll just make some videos of the repairs I'm already doing. And then I tried making a tutorial, and I was like, I don't think that's what I'm supposed to do. There's lots of people who teach tutorials, and I'm like, I don't really know that I would trust a lot of people doing the same things I'm doing all the time,
Right.
On their own, and I don't want that kind of responsibility. So I'll just show the stuff I do, and I don't need to necessarily teach people. Hopefully you learn something just by watching that, but yeah, I didn't really want the responsibility of doing tutorials, so I just started talking about what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then one night my phone started going off like crazy, and I was like, I was sleeping, and I thought someone had passed away or something. It was so many messages, and then I looked, and it wasn't. It was just my Instagram was getting a lot of comments. So, and then I was just like, maybe this is what I should do. So I just kept making them.
Mm-hmm.
And I try really not to pay too much attention to comments or anything. I just make the videos how I want to make them.
It just seems like a thing where it in this day and age, sounds weird to say, sound like an old man when I say that, but in this day and age, it sometimes feels like it's difficult to know what's genuine and what isn't. And when people are, being real and when they're not. And I think the thing that resonates with people is like, this is just you. This is just your personality coming through and what's going through your brain.
Yeah.
And people like that. They're so used to it being all polished and and shiny and glossy, and that's not real life. So I think part of it is just like, oh, this guy's got a fun personality and he's not afraid to show it, along with you're good at what you do, and people can see that in the videos as well. I think that's a lot of it.
Yeah, I don't really know. I couldn't like give someone like how to make a video. It's just I don't know. That's just what happened. That's just I watched the video back and then I talk about it, and then I don't really put too much thought into it, to be honest. I just kind of let it go. People seem to like that. The more I try to like plan stuff out, I feel like I don't know, people don't even realize or something.
I can actually relate to that because a lot of people, I talk to people that do podcasts in other spaces and stuff, and they'll ask like, do you prepare notes? Do you do this and that? And I was like, well, I did years ago. Like for my first couple, I had a big list of notes. So make sure I got to get through all these questions. And what I realized was happening was I became too focused on getting through the questions and reading the questions that I'd prepared and not just letting the conversation do its thing. So, I mean, I maybe did that 2 or 3 times, out of 400 and whatever episodes I've done now. And it just doesn't feel as good. It doesn't come across right because when I have questions, I want them to come from a genuine place. Like, oh, I'm curious about this. I want to know more based on this thing that you just said. Like the film stuff, I had no idea about, so I wouldn't even been able to know to ask that unless I just let you go and just respond to it. And so, I hope the more off the cuff style works, I think, and at least for some people it does, and it certainly works for you. So I wouldn't change it too much. I wouldn't worry about it. It's working.
Yeah, people always ask me to do longer videos, but I feel like it's about as much as I could handle.
You're also still trying to maintain and run a repair business.
Yeah,
And
I think people don't realize that sometimes. Like, I am a business that's just run by one person, which is really hard to do. So anybody else that does it, I'm so proud of you.
yeah,
But I try to do my. Also, who wants to watch something in like 10 minutes when you could watch it in a minute?
yeah. I mean, everybody has different things they like, some people, and I'm doing a better job this year than I have in the past. Some people like to watch these on YouTube. For years and years it was an audio only thing because I'm thinking I'm not going to sit down and watch 2 dudes talk. I'll listen to 2 dudes talk while I'm doing something else. But I'm not going to sit down and open up YouTube and sit there and watch somebody do this. But a lot of people do, and it turns out the biggest podcasts on the planet have a video component that's often bigger than their audio component. And it doesn't make any sense to me, but people like different things. And so, I tend to agree with you. Why would we want to watch a 10-minute version of it? But maybe there's a space and maybe there's a time in life to give it a try and see what happens. Who knows?
Yeah, perhaps. I don't know. I don't think. I just think maybe people just want to listen to the sounds. Maybe they just want the soothing sounds of chud and grinding.
It is satisfying. It is very satisfying to see.
Early on, people were like, turn the sounds off. Like, the sound of that hurt my ears, scratched my brain. And
Weird.
I thought I liked the sounds. The sounds inspire me. There's
Yeah, I don't get it. Why would I? Yeah, the sounds are part of it. It's part of the experience. It makes it feel like you're there.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people say they don't like my voice or something, but I don't care.
Well, what are you gonna do about that?
Yeah, what? Okay, let me go get a new one. Well, just like, I don't know, just read then. I don't know what you want.
Or just leave. Just go away.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, if you don't like it, there's a whole internet of content for you. I'm sure there's something you like out there somewhere. Leave me alone.
I don't know why it makes people so upset. Like, especially like older men. Like, older men really get upset at my content. It's pretty much exclusively that. Like, when I get something or someone's really mad, it's just someone who's older. They really don't like the way that I fix the guitar. They just, it really bugs them. Really bothers them. I'm like, all right. I don't know.
I don't mean to point fingers, but most I would say that I would put the number at about 85% of the bad, dumb, or just angry comments that I've ever gotten are also from older guys. That's just what it is.
I don't know. It's got to be tough being them. So I just, I'm glad they can find a release somewhere. I just wish it.
That's a good way to look at it.
I just wish it wasn't on my videos of my business. I'm like, come on. You're causing all this, causing a scene. You're causing a scene out
would
here.
You do?
And now,
yeah, would you do that in my shop? Like, probably not.
And now, when I meet people in person, they'll say, it's like one of the first things they talk about. They say, your videos, they get a lot of hate comments. Like, it's like one of the first things they say. And they're like, I don't get it.
I don't get it either. It's weird.
But it's also weird.
It's
also weird so many people bring it up to me. It's like the number one topic of conversation amongst.
I think they bring it up because they like them, so they don't understand why somebody wouldn't. I think that's why they bring it up. Yeah. That'd be my guess.
That would make sense. Yeah.
And we always focus on the hate comments too, right? It's easier to look at those and be like, oh, man, that sucks.
Yeah.
But then really most of them aren't.
No.
That's not what most
of
the
when a lot of the videos still get like millions of people watching them. So if there's even like a couple 100 of people who say something crazy, that is pretty good. So I don't know. It doesn't really get to me, I don't think, anymore. At first I was a little concerned. I was like, what's happening to my business? I had a pretty good name before this internet stepped in. And then I just got over it one day. I was like, I'm over it. And then I moved on.
Yep. I totally can relate to that. Those things used to really bother me. And I mean, I'm not going to say that I'm completely over it, but it also, I've realized that it's not important.
Yeah.
Like, I'm able to just be like, you know what? That guy's opinion doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Much,
I don't mind people's.
Not that they don't matter as a person. It's just that for what I'm trying to do, for the purposes of this piece of content, it doesn't matter.
I don't mind when people's criticisms are against like me, but when you like come in and you like say how to do a repair, but then you're not giving the right information. That's the kind of stuff that makes me mad. When you're like, I know how to do this, even though I don't own a guitar shop and I've never done it before, but I'm going to tell everyone how you do this. That's where I don't really understand. That's the kind of stuff that irks me a little bit.
Well, it's a weird thing because I was just talking to Sean at Gun Street Wiring about this. So he's a partner with Stringjoy, so we talk weekly about various things in the wiring world and the pickup world and stuff. And he just sent this thing over where he sent a kid out to a guy, and the guy was so mad. He was so upset, and he was like, I can't believe you sent me this hot piece of garbage. You're a terrible business. You're just ripping people off, blah, 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 blah. And he's like, hey man, don't worry about it. Just send it back. We'll refund you and we'll figure out what's wrong with it. Like, don't sweat it. And so he did, and he got it back, and he sent me the pictures of it. And the guy, like, I don't know what he was doing. If he had like inch wide solder and a blowtorch or whatever, I was like, what did he do to that thing? Like, it's completely massacred. This is like the Godfather, like, they massacred my boy. Like, it was such a mess, and somehow it's our fault. Somehow it's Sean's fault. People just don't want to admit when they've done something wrong to themselves or to other people on the internet. It's just a hard thing for some people to do. That guy clearly destroyed it, but it was our fault somehow. I don't know.
I get the same thing here all the time. I'll set up a guitar, and the guy will bring it back, and he'll put like a business card in the back of the neck, and he'll have like all this stuff all over, and he'll be like, it doesn't play right. Sustainiac is broken or whatever. And I'm just like, oh, jeez. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to tell you. I fixed all the problems. You left my shop saying it plays great, and now I don't know what you're doing, but you took it apart and managed to somehow make it the worst guitar ever. And then I don't know.
What are some of the crazier things you've seen come through the shop? Whether that's like an insanely bad repair, or just like, wow, this instrument's wild. It was owned by Waylon Jennings or something.
Oh my gosh!
What are some of the highlights?
Like, because it's the desert, so anything could happen here. Like, any guitar could walk through the store. Like, I had one. I don't want to say the name of the guitar, but so this guy from the Hells Angels, this is when I worked at Guitar Center actually, but this guy who was in the Hells Angels, he came in with this crazy road case, and he's like, I need you to do me a solid real quick. And I was like, okay, sure thing. So I opened up the case, and it's one of Jerry Garcia's guitars. And I was like,
whoa.
So he's like, yeah, man, I don't know what happened. I was playing around with it this weekend, and I messed up the electronics. So I was like, okay. But kind of a threatening vibe. He's like,
yeah,
you can fix it. And I was like, yeah. So he's like standing over my shoulder like a hawk, watching me, and I like open up the back plate, and it's like a rat's nest of wires. And I'm like,
no.
This is just like really cool, but also this is like probably the worst thing ever. Because like I'm pretty good at electronics, but I'm not like, I'm more of a restoration guy, so I just take a guess. I'm like, start soldering a couple things that looked loose. Screwed it up, I plugged it in, it worked. And I was like, all right. And he put it back in the case. He handed me like a bunch of cash. And he was like, you did one for a brother. We owe you one.
Okay.
So, yeah, I haven't taken him up on that yet.
Well, yeah.
I also, I don't even
like,
know.
Somebody owes you money or something.
His name or anything. I didn't go through any paperwork or anything. I just did it. So, Yeah. That was probably one of the craziest ones. That was the most memorable one to me.
I'm sure.
I think.
There's so many questions that you obviously don't have the
Yeah,
answer
I
to
just
that
try
come
not
out of
to.
that, though.
I
It's
try
like,
not to
wait,
ask him. I
why
just
did?
know that like that guitar was like I can't get it out of my mind now. Like it was the craziest guitar I've ever felt. The like the presence it had was just like
Mm-hmm.
something else. And the way it played,
And you're like, why did that guy have it? What is he
yeah.
doing?
I'd never felt something that played like that before. It changed all of my thoughts about what a good guitar was. Like,
Really?
because I'd played with some really cool guitars, really awesome playing guitars, but the way that one felt was like a whole different instrument. It felt like no guitar I ever felt before. It was just.
Was it like the neck profile, or just like what?
It
What about
was
it?
like flat. It was flatter and a little wider, but didn't feel too big, and it didn't feel like an Ibanez. It felt like almost like this indestructible piece of machinery. Like you could, and it only had tens on it, but I felt like you could pick as hard as you wanted, and nothing was going to happen to the guitar. It was just so solid, and the notes came
Wild.
out so clear, like piercingly clear and pure. Like you could check up the tuner, and each note was like exactly on. Except as you got up towards the higher frets, I think this was done on purpose. It was like usually a little out on the intonation, so you'd bend it up into the note.
Mm-hmm.
And it had 24 frets, which was cool, but it didn't feel like a metal guitar or something. It felt more like a old Gibson, but with a way bigger neck. It was a cool guitar.
That's cool.
And it was really
That's
beat up. It was in really bad condition. So, well, like just finish wise and stuff, it was so smashed up on the back. Like, it felt cool. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the stories, if that guitar can
Oh,
tell
yeah.
stories. I mean, it already has a weird story, and like
Yeah,
a Hell's Angel like somehow
some
butchered
kind of
the
weird
wiring.
story there. But
yeah.
yeah, that was one of them. I remember someone. This is more of a funny one. Someone brought me this really old ukulele from like the 1880s. It was like crazy old, and I don't think it was valuable. Really, it's just old. And they're like, "Yeah, can you string this thing up for me?" I was like, "All right." It was in terrible shape, so I start winding the strings up, and as soon as I get like even close to pitch on the second string, the bridge just flies across the room, just snaps off.
Oh no!
Just went, like it pulled off the strings, like pulled right through it. It just like the whole bridge just went flying across the room, and I was like, and the guy was standing right there, like when it happened, and I was like, I don't know.
And you're like, well, you're in the
Yeah,
right
it's like,
place,
well,
buddy.
I could fix that. Yeah.
It's like out of a movie.
Yeah, there's
That's
this
great.
other one. I took pictures of it. I was stupid when I was doing repairs before. I didn't really take that many videos of stuff I was doing. Like I just kind of did it. Like thousands of guitars. So it's like there's so many things I wish I had on a video now that were so much crazier than the stuff I've done in my videos. Like some of the amounts of chud, like you wouldn't believe how gross some guitars get.
Hello there. I'd like to introduce you to your new best friend, the Jayce Audio Long C. Lossy is a collaboration between Jayce Levi and Good Hertz. And it's meant to give you some control over those weird digital artifacts that come with very compressed audio. You're hearing it right now. All the changes that are taking place are strictly coming from my playing dynamics. I'm just interacting with the pedal and letting it do its thing. In some true stereo goodness. If you'd like some more details about Lossy, I'd invite you to head over to chaseblitzaudio.com. I think you're gonna like what you find.
I don't think it overstates things to say that the Beatles were the greatest gift to entertainment and culture of our time, a secular religion, if you will, with their universal appeal and demonstrable impact on people's lives. I'm Robert Rodriguez, host of Something About the Beatles. With every episode, I speak with historians, musicians, artists, and Beatle witnesses, all in the service of fresh insights into the most joyous cultural entity the world has ever known. I hope you'll join me and listen to Something About the Beatles, now on Evergreen and wherever you get your podcasts.
Hello, Tom May here, host of Future Friday. I've spent the last 15 years on the road with my band, The Menzingers, where I've met all kinds of wild and fascinating people. So I started a podcast. On Future Friday, I talk to fellow musicians about the moments that made them, their passions outside of music, and the curiosities that tie us all together. I've also talked to the likes of UFO researchers, magicians, soldiers, and documentary filmmakers, and I'm constantly searching for folks that can shape and change our view of the world. You can check out Future Friday wherever you like.
This guy brought me his beach guitar, he called it. I don't know if you ever heard of a beach guitar.
No.
But he had it had to be almost half an inch thick of a just layer of sweat and chud on the side of the arm and onto the front. And then the truss rod had gone through the front of the fretboard, and popped 3 of the frets out. The truss rod went through the front, and then he had filled the back end with clay. And then, some kind of clay. And he filled the back end with clay. And he brought it to me. He's like, hey, man, I don't know what you can do, but this is my beach guitar. I need it. So I spent a week unbeaching the guitar.
Unbeaching the beach guitar.
And I fixed it. It was pretty crazy. But I think I took pictures of it. But that was as far as repairs go, the beach guitar was up there. There was this other guitar that this kid, this teenager, said he had in his basement, and everyone would just pass it around and play it. And it had so much Cheetos and Taki dust on it. And the chud was all the way up to where if you did a bend, it was scraping the chud up. It was
I've seen that before. Not that specifically, but I've played guitars where there was so much chud on the fretboard that I'm shaving it with the E string. It was
really, really bad. And when he got it back, he was just shocked. It looked like a totally different guitar, just off the fretboard. I'd never seen anything like it. It looked like Swamp Thing or something.
Swamp Thing was playing guitar. just leaving all the goo. Oh man. so this kind of leads to a question. When things are so bad, right? Like the beach guitar is probably a great example of this. Some guitars, this is probably a weird thing that a lot of repair shops have to get into, because I've certainly had to talk to friends and family members who aren't just like immersed in this the way that you and I are. They'll bring you a guitar and it's like some no name, classical or something that's just not. It's just not really worth it monetarily to do anything to. It's like, this guitar is like $15. It's just not really, it's just not really monetarily worth sinking a bunch of money into. Is that a difficult conversation to have, or how do you approach that with somebody? Because I know I have guitars that if they needed repaired, I would have them repaired, and it would probably cost more than the guitar's worth, and I wouldn't care.
Yeah,
but I know that.
Honestly, I'm a terrible businessman, and I'll just fix it. Like,
okay.
I fixed a frozen guitar from Target. I've fixed stuff off of Amazon. I'll fix anything. Once I see it and I know that it needs to be fixed, I have to do it. I can't not fix it. And a lot of times now, at least when I do the videos, I make some money off the videos, like on TikTok. So like a lot of times I'll get more money from the video than the repair. So if I see something that I think people are going to like to watch, then I'll usually cut them, some kind of deal so I can have more content too. Because it's not every day that a super disgusting piece of trash guitar walks through the door. No one wants to see me do a fine tuning on the Murphy Labs because that's boring. They're already done. It's already good, and even for me at this point in my life, after doing so many guitars, like between probably 7,000 or 8,000, I don't even know, maybe more. The things that interest me now are not those kind of guitars. Like, in fact, if someone walks in with like a Gibson custom shop or like something like that, I'm like, oh no, like more risk. Like, I'd rather, and it's what I'm going to do to that guitar is not going to change your life. But when a kid comes in with a bullet Strat and the strings are like 2 inches off the fretboard, I can fix this guitar and change this person's life. So I'm going to do that and spend my time on doing those kind of things rather than trying to do a bunch of blues lawyers guitars or whatever. I'm more of I'd rather fix something cool or fix something really old, like some kind of antique that's busted up. I'd rather do that than some custom shop or something.
No, that does make sense, because I remember taking my guitar, and it was a decent guitar. It's actually one I play all the time. I still love it. It was one of the faded Les Paul specials from the early 2000s, and it was my first electric, and so I felt really lucky, and it's a very good guitar. But the first time I was like, I think this needs a little bit of love, though. Like, I'd been beating it up for a while. I didn't know that much about guitars. And I took it and got it set up by somebody who knew what they were doing. And when I got it back, it was life-changing. I was like, whoa, I thought I had a pretty decent guitar before, and now I have a really good guitar. Like, I can't believe how this plays. Yeah. I didn't know. A lot of people are playing instruments they don't realize are messed up. I certainly didn't, and it can change the whole game.
There's so many little things that go into it, and like that's what people don't see in my videos is like how the instruments play. Like, to me, that's number one. I don't really care about the aesthetics myself, like other people do, but all my guitars are trashed. But they all play crazy. They're like super high performing instruments that are really easy to play, really nice to play, and sound really good, which people, they don't really take into account that, like, I'm fixing these guitars and I'm cleaning them, but more importantly, these guitars all play really well. And that's how I have a business. My business isn't the cleaning business. My business is making guitars play really well.
Yeah. That is important for artists, because if your guitar is performing the way it's supposed to, then you're not going to have to think about it. You can just make your music. You can just do the thing you want to do, and it'll do it, instead of you doing everything right and your guitar still not responding because it's broken.
Or like the big thing in my town is there's a big wave of new hardcore bands that are great, but they all put these super thick strings on their guitars, and then they don't get them adjusted, so the guitars don't play very well, and then they're sharp on the first fret no matter what they're doing because they're bulging out of the top of the nut. So all these bands are doing their dun 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 dun, and they're all like doing this, but everyone's like micro pitches off of the note, so it just sounds insane. And I'm like, I'm trying to help everybody. Like, let's get this locked in. Let's help the community do their dun dun duns. Digga digga dun dun dun. We gotta help.
let's keep the chugs in tune, people. Let's do it. Yes.
But
I love it.
I don't know. I try to make whatever type of music comes through the door. I try to learn what the right setup for that music is, because it's really diverse community here between all the different rock bands, and then you've got like the desert rock is from here, Queens of the Stone Age and all that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of emulators of that still kicking around. And then you've got all this hardcore and metal, which the scene is really big, really awesome here. And then you've got the regional Mexican music and country music and all this other stuff. So I've had to learn all these different types of setups and special ways of doing guitars for different types of music. But that's why I have a shop. It's what made me popular. So.
Absolutely. Well, we are getting close to the end of the main episode, and I have a couple classic questions I like to wrap these up on that I ask everybody. But before I do that, I like to give the guests a chance to take the stage. You're talking to a few thousand people right now, and you can plug anything you want to plug. You can shout out anybody you want to shout out. You can say anything you want to say. The floor is yours now.
I got a grand opening celebration of my new location here on July 11th. If you're in the California area, that'll be coming up, and I've got all kinds of giveaways and stuff happening for that. And then also later this month, I have a collab tools and liquids kit with Music Nomad coming out. And you're going to be able to get all my favorite stuff with some stickers and cool things from me. And it's all the products I use in my videos already. So they're good. And I know they're good. So look for that coming out shortly. And yeah, that's all I got for you today.
Music Nomad makes really good stuff. They are not a sponsor of this podcast. I'm saying that just straight up. I have some of their stuff. They make really good stuff.
A lot of people ask me for sprays and stuff, and I was like, well, I don't really want to make my own. There's already a pretty good one. So I just talked to them, and we came up with a little kit of all the stuff I always use, so people can buy the kit. And
there you go.
Now I have something to refer people to, rather than having to say, here's a list of 30 different products I use or whatever. Here's all the stuff I use. So.
Sweet. All right. Final questions. First one. What is your favorite
boss pedal? The DS2. Yeah.
The DS2. I've never played one of those. I've seen.
I like the
played
turbo mode. I think that's what it's called. I got it up on my wall. I think it's called turbo. Anything that says turbo, I like that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay. I think that's all the validation I need.
I think that's my favorite boss pedal. It's the one I've used the most.
Sweet. All right, final question. What is your favorite kind of pizza?
Pineapple. Yeah.
Oh no! We're doing so well.
I do. I really like it. Sorry, everyone. It's just my wife hates it. She won't even. We can't even split the pizza in half and do half pepperoni.
Oh,
She's
wow!
Like, no way. That pepperoni is not. The pepperoni juices are not touching side 2 of this pizza. You will have to get your own.
So my wife, me and my wife are flipped. So like, she likes the pineapple. I don't like the pineapple, but I'll split it. I'll split, and I'll even if I get a slice of pineapple, I'll pick it off. Like, I'll pick it off. And there's a little juice on there, but I can deal with that.
Yeah,
like,
see me, I'm like extra. Let's go extra pineapple.
Extra.
Love it.
You gotta have it.
Love it.
Man, what? I'm hoping one day I'll like it. It's one of those weird things. I'll take a bite of it once in a while to see if I still don't like it. I'm like, nope, still don't like it.
They got a good one at Winco, pineapple combination pizza. I don't know if you have Winco where you're at.
I do, and I've actually looked at some of their take and bake pizzas before, and I thought that looks decent.
I like
I wonder if
just getting a slice on my way out. It's like a celebration. Like, good job, you did the task. Now you get this slice of pizza.
I don't think that my Winco has hot food.
Oh, like that. That's unfortunate. No celebratory slice at the end of the trip.
No. No, I can do that at Costco.
Yeah, I prefer Costco. I prefer Winco pizza over Costco, I think.
Interesting. I've always said that Costco is like the best bang for the buck.
It's pretty good, but
pizza.
I don't know. Something about the Winco one is more nostalgic tasting to me. It really brings you back to the pizza party time. Maybe a best.
I'm so mad that my Winco doesn't have hot slices. Yeah. I'm gonna look closer. I'm not gonna. I'll let you know. I don't
lemonade
think it does,
is pretty good too.
So. What, you got like a whole food court
pizza
thing?
And lemonade? It might be as far as it goes though. They might do submarines.
I'm so mad.
Maybe they do submarine sandwich. Yeah. Well, if they have it, I would recommend it out there. Winco is not an official sponsor of the world famous Repairland yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
I'll reach out. I don't have shame in asking.
Yeah.
Hey guys,
they might become one.
You want to be in one of my videos? I'll repair it right in the deli at Winco. Whatever you want,
dude. That would be so great. You're just in there, just scraping fretboards.
Or I just clean the deli.
Oh, looks like your deli counter's truss rod needs adjusted.
I better help you guys out back here. Yep. Get deep in this pizza oven crack.
Mm-hmm. Well, dude, thank you so much for coming on. I super appreciate it, and we'll see what kind of shenanigans we can get into on Patreon. Does that work for you? All right, cool. All right, everybody. For Jayce, this is Blake, and as always, folks, good luck and good tones.
I like that.
All right, folks, there you go. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget, if you are in the area, if you are in the Indio, California area, make sure you stop at the grand opening of Repairland. He's giving away a bunch of stuff. It's going to be really, really cool. Go check it out if you are in the neighborhood. You don't want to miss that. That's just in a couple days. If you're listening to this episode the day it dropped, it's in just a few days. So make sure you go check that out and give Jayce a follow if you want your internet guitar experience just to be better and more entertaining all around. Please check him out, get your stuff fixed there, and hit him up. All right, folks, until next time, I will talk to you on the internet very, very soon. Thanks for hanging out. Bye-bye. One last thing before we totally sign off here. I just want to remind you that if you do any shopping at Stringjoy, that's Stringjoy guitar strings made in Nashville, that will help me out as well. As I've said for years, I'm heavily involved in that company, and I really do think they're making the best products on the market. So if you would like to try custom strings, go to tonemob.com/stringjoy and check them out today. I seriously love what the team down there is doing. I help them out with all kinds of things, and by you supporting them, you are also supporting me as well. And hey, you need some strings, so why not get some custom strings just for your guitar and playing style? Again, the link for that is tonemob.com/stringjoy, and that will take you right to their website, and you can do all your shopping through there, and that will help everyone involved out. So thank you very much. Talk to you next time. We are brought to you by the wonderful folks at Gun Street Wiring Shop. Yes, Gun Street Wiring Shop. I've talked about them before. I used to say based out of Bend, Oregon, but guess what? Sean moved to my neck of the woods. Sean's in Portland. Sean is awesome and has helped me with a bunch of stuff lately. And if you have wiring needs for your guitar, he can help you too. If you want to get weird with it, he can get weird. If you just need to spruce things up a little bit, there's your guy. He takes all the guesswork out of doing your guitar wiring, and he makes it simple, and his customer service is top-notch, and I can't say enough good things about Gun Street as a company. I really respect Sean and what he's all about, and the product is top-notch. I've got 3 different guitars that now have Gun Street harnesses in them, and I could not be happier. So go to gunstreetwiringshop.com and check them out.
Hey everyone, this is Tuck from Fit for a King, an off-road minivan. Every week I bring you fun interviews alongside your favorite metalcore entertainers with my new podcast, Get Tucked. Join me every Monday with bands like Counterparts, Crystal Lake, like Moths to Flames, and many more. We play unsigned and undiscovered bands, deep dive into each artist's history, and of course provide the greatest breakdowns in current metalcore. Tune in to Get Tucked every Monday, out now through Sound Talent Media.
Hello, everybody. I'm Bruce.
And I'm Nolan, and this is the Corner of Gray Street podcast. As longtime Dave Matthews Band fans, we set out to create a podcast to dive deep into the past, present, and future of DMB.
Not only do we recap and review shows within an ongoing tour, but we revisit past shows from throughout the band's history, conduct interviews with a wide variety of guests with ties to DMB, and create unique and exclusive content like our Concerts on the Corner series.
Whether you're a fan of the band or just a fan of great music, we think you'll find something you'll enjoy. We can't wait to see you on The Corner of Gray Street.